So when you're watching Liba videos, notice that her finger is your thumb, unless you happen to play like her, which is upside down and backwards. When her finger's moving from string to string, that's your thumb. If you learned Freight Train, you've learned it as a tune in C. The root of that C chord is on the 5th string. Usually, if you have an alternating bass, you move between strings 5 and 6 or 5 and 4. She's skipping 5 altogether. She has herself a C chord with a G in the bass, and we call that a C over G. You got C stuff going on up here, and your bass, instead of being on C, is on G. And why it's so smooth, why maybe you didn't notice this was happening, is the next chord is G. In jazz, they call that a pedal tone. Basically, our G pedals from our C chord to our G chord, so you have this drone. The chords in succession here would be G over C to G, and then G7, back to G, and then she does this really cool G7. So this new G7 chord is you've got 3rd fret with middle finger on the E, low E, you've got 3rd fret again with the middle finger on the 4th string, and you've got 3rd fret yet again with the pinky on the B string there. So bringing you back to C where she finally hits the root. Then it's E7 to F, and we're going to play the F with our thumb, and then we have ourselves back to C, which is just a normal C, and then the last 2 chords you're back to that C over G, and then that cool G7 back to C, where she just alternates between the basses. So playing fingerstyle over this, if you know this tune already, it's going to be pretty similar, but you might learn a thing or two because I am using this specific version. So we've got this G over C chord, and there's a pinch on 6 and 1, 3rd fret on 1, and then you play 4 by itself, and then open against 6, 4 by itself again, and then pinch 3rd fret on the 2nd string against 6, 4 by itself, and then 1st fret on 2 against 6, and then 4 by itself. So that whole phrase is this. If you watch my thumb here, it's always moving to the 4th string. And that holds true over our next chord. So that would be back to our G and G7. So you've got. And then we're going to walk down this G7 chord. We've got ourselves this G, G7, open, and now we do this new G chord, this new G7 chord, back to C. Oh, and then she does something pretty subtle with the C chord. She does a pinch on, 5 and 2, thumb by itself on 4, and then she alternates her finger down to the 6th string, and she keeps her thumb there. So she sneaks back into this G over C business. And the E chord, she just kind of does an alternating finger picking pattern. Turns it into E7. Let's see, so this pattern is pinch on 6 and 1, thumb on 4, pluck on the 1st fret on the 3rd string, so that's going to be this. So you have so far. Then the next move, you've got 6, 3, 4. So far you've got this. This last bit of E is 6 and 1, and then 4 by itself, 2, 3rd fret on 2, 6 by itself, 1 by itself, 4. So then you've got this hammer-on thing on the F chord. That's a pinch on open 4 against 6. Hammer that onto the 2nd fret, and then drop your thumb. Both times. So you've got hammer, thumb, and then pluck the 2nd string. Back to 6, and then back to the hammer. The second time you do this hammer, though, you've got to drop your thumb with the hammer. So that's kind of a weird balancing act. Then you bring your pinky to the 3rd fret, and then open 1, bringing you to the C. Pinch against 5 and 1, thumb by itself, and then 2 by itself. After you do that, you've got a hammer on the what is that? Open 3 to 2nd fret, and then a pull off. And you've got to drop your thumb. You can mute that string or leave it open. Both are going to sound fine. I probably mute it more than I play it open. And then you've got G over C, and that's a pinch on 2 and 6, 4 by itself, and then your new G7 chord. That's a pinch against 6 and 2, and then resolve to C, and she just alternates her basses on this last chord. There's a lot going on with that tune. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to chart out these chords for you over on the Patreon. Support this channel on that if you can. Otherwise, just subscribe and interact in the comments. Ask me questions. I'm happy to help. That's what I'm doing these for. And we'll see you at the next one. Hey, if you like this guitar, I'm going to do a video on it next, and I will leave a link for it when I'm done. But it's a guitar that I saved from Savers. It's a beautiful old catalog guitar. You've probably seen hanging on the wall for the past bunch of videos, but I finally finished it, and doesn't it sound nice? So stick around for that.